Look for a way that something is your fault. See, when you're a leader, accepting blame and finding ways that you can somehow improve the situation and accepting some responsibility for what happens is what will make you successful. See, every single thing that goes wrong here in my companies, I'm always looking and searching for what could I have done better. I just got out of a meeting upstairs where I, 3 days ago, had heard about some mistakes being made in a certain area of our company. And I just called an impromptu meeting upstairs and I said, I want to talk about what I can do differently to help the situation. And I looked at our head of HR, Kim, and I said, Kim, you've been telling me years to do XYZ training with XYZ people. And I said, now that we have this problem and I read your whole report, it crystallized in my head some things that I can do to help us in that area. See, that's how I react to problems. What do most human beings do? Most human beings look for ways that things aren't their fault, and they look for ways to blame others. Those people never, ever, ever make it big. Ever make it big. Now, why is that? Why don't they? Well, it's a personality for one. If they're always projecting outward, always blaming others, never having a willingness to look in a mirror, they're never going to fix things because they're not fixing the things that they're doing wrong. See, in every single situation you're in life, every confrontation, every good thing that happens, every bad thing that happens, you are somewhat responsible for it. You are. You're either in a small part or a large part responsible for it. The great Bob Proctor, the mindset trainer, he used to say, for every pro in life, there's a con. For every con in life, there's a pro. This reminds me of that. But I will tell you, as someone who has 900 and something people, in our companies, I observe human behavior every day. I hear stories every day, and I'm naturally exposed to more problems and more things that go on than the average person. And I'm also, because of all the business we do, in touch with others at other companies. Okay? And when I'm in touch with others at other companies and I hear things about other companies, I always realize there's some fault on both sides. It might be 5% one side, 95% the other side, but there's always some blame to go around. And one thing that I notice when I don't get involved in these things that much anymore, but when I occasionally end up on the phone with a high-level leader at another company, when there's an altercation between maybe one of our agents and theirs, or one of our staff members and theirs, or who knows, maybe our client and their client, you never know. One thing I find when it's a high-level leader on the other end, they're usually not defensive. They usually say, hey, look, I'm sure our side had a little part in this too. We'll talk to them. We'll calm them down. And that's generally, most of the time, how I react as well, because I know that's the case. But when I occasionally end up on the phone with someone who's newer to management or newer to leadership, they tend to have their defense up, not only for themselves, but maybe for the other person. Folks, if you want to be successful, if you want to be a good leader, you always have to look in the mirror and say, what can I do first? And I got news for you. Not only you always have to do that, but it can't be your second, third, fourth reaction or second, third, fourth to do when you hear about it. It should be the first. And that's how it is with me. The story that I just told you when I spoke to our head of HR and some others. I read a report when I was flying home on Friday night, informal, this isn't like police reports, but I read a report on a certain thing we're having an issue with, and I said, I can do better on that. There's something that I can add to this situation to make it better, and there's something that I potentially could have done preemptively to make it better. If you want to change your success level in life, change your mindset. Change the way you look at things. When you see a problem, say to yourself first, what could I have done differently? Those of you that won't do that, those of you that keep projecting outward, those of you that keep blaming, it's okay. Stay where you are. That's okay too. Hope that makes sense. Good luck.